Greetings, whiskey folk, and welcome to a very special edition of the Dram Report. Why is it a special edition? Well, today is a very special day, isn't it? September the 22nd, the first day of fall, and that can only mean one thing, a brand new whiskey season. Now, you know, whiskey can be enjoyed all year round, but for many people it is something that is particularly enjoyed in the cooler, damper, darker weather, and we're beginning to see that right now. And why not celebrate with a very special edition Ben Romack? This is a single cask exclusively available here at the Strath in BC. It was bottled for Chateau Louis in Edmonton. You can only get it there and here, interestingly enough. And it's right now available as a featured dram for Dram Association members. So whatever level of membership you're at, you can get 10% off on this bottle online right now at strathliquor.com. Cheers to a brand new whiskey season. Lovely. What a way to start. All right, so news. First news, of course, you can't have a whiskey season without announcing a whiskey release, right? And we've got a doozy for you. We have not one, not two, but 6 special edition Glenallachys to release. And they're going to be released in a very special Drinking Out Loud YouTube tasting presentation tomorrow night at 6:30. September 23rd, Thursday evening, 6:30 here on YouTube. I will be sitting down and having an interview conversation with David Keir, the Sales and Marketing Director for the Glenallachie. We're going to taste through 8 different editions, and like I said, 6 of them are limited editions. Many of them are sold out worldwide, and one of them actually only available, at least in BC, here at the Strath, and I think potentially only available in the whole of Canada here at the Strath. I'm not 100% on that, but I think that might be the case. So tune in tomorrow night for a very, very special Glenallachie tasting. Like I said, 6:30 right here on YouTube. Now, other news, on a slightly sadder note, of course, many of you might have noticed the note that we put up on the website that our drop-in dram sessions have had to be temporarily halted because due to the reintroduced COVID-19 protocols of having to wear a mask in all shops, including our own, of course, that you can't really drink whiskey through a mask. So we've had to pause the drop-in drams, the in-store tastings for a little while, which is actually quite unfortunate. This one had just launched as a drop-in dram, which is why it's currently a featured dram online. So I'm very sorry if you were planning to come and try this. It will be back when we press play again on the drop-in drams. This one will still be there and you'll still be able to taste it. But in the meantime, do feel free to pick up a bottle if you like the idea of a single cask, bourbon cask Ben Romack. And if you want more information on this whiskey, you can see my unbottling video. And I also, of course, had a full Ben Romack vertical tasting, which this one featured in as well. So even though you can't taste it yourself right now in the store, and again, you will be able to at some point, hopefully my own tasting notes here on YouTube will help you make a decision as to whether this beautiful exclusive single cask is for you or not. The other single cask release that we have right now as part of the drop-in drams was the Talent Port Cask 14-year-old Bruichladdich, and that has now finished its run. It finished its run just before the mask mandate was reintroduced, which means it has an official Dram Association score. So you can go to our reviews page at the Dram Association site to check out how that did. I'll give you a clue. It scored pretty damn well, as you would expect for a 14-year-old independently bottled cask strength single cask port cask Bruichladdich. And as a special treat, I've actually decided to extend that special pricing, the 10% off, just for a little longer for those who would like to pick one of those up. Now, one real sad thing about the fact that we're not able to do the in-store drams right now is I actually had something special saved up that was actually going to launch, I think, last week. And because it's a new release for the Strath, I don't want to sit on it forever, and I know that it's a shame that we don't all get to taste it together, but I just, I need to get it out there because I'm excited to see the response from whiskey lovers on this next bottling. Because this is, it's an interesting one. It's a brand which I personally have had a hard time getting on board with because often the prices are pretty pretty crazy, especially in the UK where I first came across this brand. But here in Canada, they can be pretty mad too. But this one came in at a pretty reasonable price on the international scale of things. So I was really excited to give this one a try. And this one being a Whistle Pig. This is the Whistle Pig 12-year Old World Rye. So this is a really interesting version of Whistle Pig. This is Canadian rye whiskey, so we're pretty certain this is going to be Alberta Premium Juice. It's bottled at 86 proof, and it's actually a mix of 3 different Old World style casks. 63% of the juice is from Madeira casks, 30% from Sauternes, and 7% from port, which got me really interested. So I'm looking forward to trying this one at some point in the future. No matter what happens, even if we sell out, I'm going to make sure that we have 1 bottle saved for a future tasting so that we can all get together and try this unique and interesting take on Canadian whiskey bottled in America. Because yeah, I want to know what all the fuss is about. I want to see why this whiskey is excruciatingly expensive in the UK. Like, it's sold for like £200 over there. It's mad. And even in Alberta, it's more expensive than we've got it available right here. You can pick up this Whistle Pig, regular price at $160.78, but because it was supposed to be a featured dram, I'm going to make it a featured dram for the price discount right now. So for the next couple of weeks at least, you can get this for $144.70, which for a 12-year-old Whistle Pig aged in a mix of old world casks is unbelievable, to be honest. I hope some of you guys in BC pick up on how good of a deal this is, and I have a feeling some of our newfound customers from slightly further afar who have a bit of a more restricted shopping experience in your own province might find this one to be particularly interesting as well. So yes, we have a few of these, and there's actually plenty more in the warehouse, so don't be shy, pick up a couple of bottles if this is something you're interested in. Whistle Pig 12 Old World Rye, available right now at strathliquor.com. Lovely. Today's third story. The third story today is all about the premium exclusive. So these are whiskies that are only available to our Dram Association premium members. You can sign up online. It's super easy. It's just a $10 a month subscription. That gets you access to these exclusive whiskies during a time when we're able to do the drop-in drams. You can also do the drop-in drams, and that's included in the price, so it's actually the same price as if you just come and do the drop-in drams. Gives you discounts on upcoming tastings, and a plethora of other goodies. And right now, I'm proud to announce that one whiskey that we teased a very, very long time ago now, I think it was back in March maybe, at one of the first tastings that we did in collaboration with the Victoria Whisky Festival. We teased that hopefully one day we might get some of this, and I basically demanded the rep put us on the list for the next allocation, and it's come. We have Mikhter's 10-year-old bourbon, super rare edition of the Michters. This Michters is a single barrel 10-year-old bourbon. This was an absolute delight to sample online a little while ago. I actually kept the empty bottle and used it as a hot sauce bottle for some locally made hot sauce that I purchased that didn't come in a bottle. So I'm very used to seeing this bottle around on this table these days. But yes, this Michter's 10-year-old bourbon, a super special limited release. It sells out very quickly wherever it's available. We have 3 bottles now, and I believe we've got 3 more coming as well. So if you're interested in picking up some rare bourbon right now, it's available online. Regular price $220.78. With your 10% discount, that is $198.70. $198.70 for a beautiful 10-year-old bourbon. I'm sensing a theme here. We've got some American whiskey, was actually Canadian, and we've got some bourbon as well. But don't worry, we do have some Scotch as well. And we have some wonderful tastings lined up for later on this year. And one thing that I'm decided that I'm going to start doing now with the premium exclusives is giving you a little preview of some upcoming tastings and some whiskies that are going to be fully released later on. So I'm going to tell you right now, later this year, we're going to do something that was a huge hit last year. We're going to do an indie spotlight. So it's like our indie showcase, but spotlighting only one independent bottler. And we're going to do that for Douglas Lang again. So we've got a whole host of incredible limited edition versions of their remarkable regional malt series. And I have one right now, which I'm going to give a little pre-release preview. Half of our stock is going to be available exclusively to Dram Association Premium members, and that is the Rock Island Sherry Cask Edition. I've had one old batch of this, and it was absolutely stunning. Unfortunately, last time this was available, it was only available at one of our competitors. This time, we've managed to get a couple of cases, and I'm very happy to be sharing this, and I cannot wait to taste it alongside a whole suite of other special editions later on this year in person. Now, I don't know when that's going to happen. We are still waiting on the delivery of a couple of those releases. But in the meantime, if you're a premium member and you want to pick up a Rock Island Sherry Cask in advance, it is available right now. Regular price $121.65. And of course, you always get your 10% discount, which makes that $109.49. $109.49. Absolutely lovely. All right. The table's getting full. But we've got one more. We have another tasting, and actually we have another indie spotlight, and this is something I've been teasing for a few months now. I'm very excited to try these whiskies. We're shining a spotlight on a brand new independent bottler to the shelves of the Strath, a company that's been around for around 10 years now, that we've been unable to get until now. And we've gone a little bit wild with them. I think we've got 16 different versions, so we're splitting them into a couple of tastings. And part one is going to be coming out pretty soon. More details on that in a second, but your special preview of that boutique whiskey company is coming to the Strath. Yes, it is. And this is a particularly interesting one because it's not very often that you see independently bottled single cask Irish whiskey, which is what this is. A little bit tricky to get open the box, apparently. I haven't quite figured out the trick yet. There we go. Well, it's buckled in. It's well contained. So, that boutique whiskey company, this is a special edition that is called Irish Whiskey Number 2, Batch 6. So this is a 15 years aged Irish whiskey. Super cool. Hopefully you can see there that they have sort of graphic novel-esque illustrations on all of their bottlings. They're really interesting. In fact, each one each one comes with a pack of stickers as well. You might be able to see inside the box there, which is even cooler. This is such a unique independent bottler, and they leave clues as to what the whiskey might be. Most of the time, they just outright say what the distillery is. Sometimes, however, they're unable to for licensing reasons, so they'll give you a little clue. Here we have a panel of judges. It looks like drinking Irish coffees, I think. That makes sense. And a little speech bubble saying, "Jog on, Aeneas, there's only one kind of coffee we're interested in." And there we have a picture of Aeneas Coffey himself holding a flip chart and walking away looking pretty unhappy. And the flip chart, of course, has his patented Coffey stills. Now, there's a great story about that. The whole point of this is that the Irish whiskey industry got offered the use of these stills, but that Aeneas Coffey actually invented in Ireland, and they turned their noses up at it. They said no, and that's actually one of the main reasons, unfortunately, that Irish whiskey took a huge downturn and most of them closed, because as much as column still whiskey is, in many people's eyes, inferior to pot still whiskey, and that's not always the case. It's a damn sight more lucrative. So the Scotch whiskey industry took on the Coffey still and ran with it, and the Irish whiskey industry kind of fell a little bit to the wayside. Now, how does that give us any clue as to what distillery this is? Well, first of all, we can look at what kind of whiskey it is. This is a single malt Irish whiskey, and it's 15 years old. And I know that they've got older editions that are 20 years and older of this same distillery. So that means that, well, that long ago, there was only 3 distilleries anyway. There was the Irish distillers, the makers of Jameson and Redbreast and whatnot. There's Cooley, and there is, of course, Bushmills. So, well, Irish distillers are stricken out because they don't make single malt, so this is either Cooley or Bushmills. And there's a couple of clues that make me guess one of these two. First of all, only one of those distilleries was actually around when NWS Coffee was trying to persuade Irish distillers to use his style of still. And that, of course, is Bushmills. Cooley's only been around, I think, since the 80s. It's a relatively new distillery. So that points it in the direction of Bushmills. Another reason that it's probably Bushmills is Bushmills still to this day, doesn't use any kind of column still. They only use pot stills. And if you're wondering about, well, they make blended whiskey that is a mix of grain and malt. Yes, they do, but they don't actually make the grain component. They buy it in from, I believe, Irish distillers, I think. It's one of the other two, but they don't make it themselves. So I think that because this is all about telling NWS to go shove it, I think this is a Bushmills. I think this is a single malt Irish whiskey from Bushmills at 15 years old, and it's a small batch, individually bottle numbered as well. This is 730 of 1900, so a very small batch, bottle at cask strength 50.2. Super cool, unique whiskey, and I look forward to sharing many super cool, unique boutique whiskies with you guys. This one is available right now to premium members only. $199.91 is the standard price, and it is currently $179.92. Quick note on that as well, these are slightly smaller bottles. They're 500ml instead of 700ml, which keeps the price lower, but also, you do get less whiskey, so bear that in mind. Yeah, really, really cool. So, when will this whiskey be featured? Well, I don't know actually when this one's going to be featured, because this is actually going to be in part 2 of the Boutique tastings this year. But part 1, you can join us on Sunday, October the 17th at 4 o'clock. Tickets are available right now at strathliquor.com, so pick up your tickets for that. Can't wait to share our first in-person tasting together of this brand new whiskey season. However, of course, SNWS members, we've already had a few tastings this year, and we're kicking off the new whiskey season with an incredible pair of tastings because we're turning 10. SNWS Canada is 10 years old this year. We're just about to celebrate our 10th anniversary here in Canada, and there's still, I believe, at the time of recording, 4 tickets left for Thursday, September the 30th tasting at 7 p.m. The Sunday tasting has already sold out, but whether you're an SNWS member or not, if you want to come celebrate with us, last chance to get some tickets to come and enjoy that incredible tasting. The digital outturn, however, is being delayed a little bit. We normally would release it at 10 a.m. on the first Friday of the month, but in order to try and coordinate with our friends over in Alberta and over at Legacy in Vancouver to try and have it all released on the same day, we are pushing our release back to fit with their schedules. It will be released on Thursday the 10th at 10 a.m. So if you're not able to join us in person for the tasting but still want to take part, that is when that will air. Couple of last little bits of news as well. Of course, the Victoria Whisky Festival has announced that it will do its very best to have a festival next year. Of course, things are always up in the air right now with public health orders, but they are planning to have a festival. They've started organising it. Tickets will be on sale at some point here at the Strath. And of course, as well, I'm here to announce that our annual sale is also going to be happening again this year. Early November, I don't know the exact dates yet, but sometime in early November, we'll have our annual clearance sale as well. So yeah, thank you for joining us for this a very special, exciting edition of the Dram Report. Hopefully there's some news in here that has excited you. There's a lot of news in here that has excited me, and I cannot wait to see you tomorrow night for a little bit of a Glen Allaghy. Slanchavar, go get your tickets now for the in-person tastings, and I will see you there. Catch you next time. Where's my whiskey? There you go.
Felt the wind of a car to bar, it took a long road to get here. Navigating by a shooting star.